Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Holly with Colorful Crafting, and I've decided to do a whip and chat, kind of unplanned, unscheduled, all that good stuff. I was gonna wait until tomorrow to do it, but I got some stuff to talk about, so I might as well do it while it's still fresh in my head. So first of all, I hope everyone's having a great week. It is Tuesday here. My week is kind of a little confusing for me because normally I am off Sunday, Monday, but this week because of the holiday, because of 4th of July falling on Thursday, I worked Monday so I could have Thursday and Friday off. So I have no idea what day of the week it is most of the time. But anyway, yeah, so I hope everyone's enjoying their week. And for those of you lucky enough to have the entire week off, I hope you're enjoying it. It is insanely hot here, and I'm sorry if you can hear my fan going in the background. I actually have the ceiling fan and a regular fan, the fan that I usually have on when I go to sleep at night. I forgot to put the air conditioner on in my bedroom because there's a separate air conditioner for the second level of the house, and it was off all day because I was at work, and I forgot to turn it on. So it's a little bit warm in here, but I'm not gonna let that stop me. So it's been a while. It's been probably a good week at least since I've made a whip and chat. Lots of stuff has happened. Today is actually, today is Tuesday. Okay. Something just occurred to me. All right, so my last whip and chat, I believe I was talking about us getting a new puppy. While I'm yammering, let me find the color that I want to use. Actually, first of all, I am working on my Ever Moment. This is the Halloween Ever Moment that I did an unboxing for, and I know you probably can't see it, the angle that I have right now. I am working in this corner up here, like in the middle, right there. And yeah, so far it's been pretty decent. I have a story that involves this canvas actually. But let me pick what color I'm going to do, and I'm trying to do this with the light pad turned off because it looks better on camera if the light pad is off. Not that you're actually looking at this because most people just listen while they paint, but whatever. Anyway, I think I'm going to do the peas. Okay, so as I was saying in my last Paint With Me, Whip and Chat, whatever you want to call them, I believe I was discussing that we had lost our dog, Byron, and had just adopted a new puppy. Puppy's name is Sable, and she's wonderful. She's just beautiful and full of energy and acts like a puppy even though she's almost a year old, which I guess is still considered kind of a puppy. So full of energy. She runs faster than any dog I've ever seen. But anyway, yeah, things are going well with her. It almost feels like there was never a time when we didn't have her. Actually, going back to when we got Sable, we, roommate Tom and I, stopped at the PetSmart when we were getting supplies for Miss Sable when we brought her home. And they had one cat for adoption in PetSmart. And she was this beautiful all-white cat. And the rest of the adoption area was empty. So she was by herself back there. And she was very laid back. She wasn't like jumping all over the place, like hissing at people or anything like that. She was just laying in her cage. And I pointed her out to Tom. And from that moment, she was always in my head. And I think she was always in Tom's head as well. And we found her she was also on petfinder.com, which is how we found Sable. And we noticed when we saw the picture on Pet Finder that she had a scar over her eye. It doesn't impede her seeing, but she obviously had been attacked at some point, and she'd also had a litter of kittens, which were also all up for adoption. And sorry, I don't know, I'm getting sidetracked. My mind is telling me to jump all around, and I'm trying to talk in a sort of very straightforward way that's easier to understand and follow along, because a lot has happened since my last video. But yeah, so always in the back of my mind I had this cat in my head, and I kept periodically checking on Pet Finder to see if she had been taken down, letting me know that she had been adopted. But every time I looked, she was always on there, and every time Tom went to PetSmart, he would always see her. So long story short, we got it in our heads that Sable would want to have a playmate in the house. And at first, I was trying to convince Tom to get another dog, but he didn't think that Sable would play well with another dog. I still disagree with him on that point, but we began talking about the possibility of maybe getting this white cat, who we found out was named Kimmy. And the story with Kimmy was that she had been captured by this, rescued by a shelter, different shelter than the one that we got Sable at. She had been living behind this restaurant, and like I said, she had obviously been attacked at some point because of the scar over her eye. She had kittens, and yeah, and she had been up for adoption for quite a while, and Tom didn't seem to think that she was going to be adopted because of the scar and because she wasn't a kitten. So we sort of set the ball in motion to try and adopt her. So last Tuesday, actually, that's why I said, oh, it's Tuesday. Last Tuesday, the woman from the shelter came and brought Kimmy with her, and we found out that she was called Kimmy because that was the name of the person that found her behind the restaurant. And she wasn't really, like, attached to the name. So we had a home visit. I was very nervous about how Sable would react, about how the cat would react. But, again, long story short, too late. We kept Kimmy. And I named her Sophie because I have always loved that name. And I didn't really like the name Kimmy. No offense to anybody named Kimmy who might be watching. She just didn't look like a Kimmy to me. But we kept her and Sable separate. We set Sophie up in the office with her food and her litter box and everything. And it was very slow going, very limited interaction with the puppy. There were a couple of instances of the cat hissing at Sable. And is that an F or a P? That is an F, and I think I just put a P over another F, but oh well. As of right now, we put baby gates up all over the house. So Sophie had her own part of the house, and Sable had her own part of the house. But as of today, we took all but one baby gate down. We just have the section where her food and litter box are, sort of a safe place for Sophie to go, because Sophie is still kind of skittish. She's being more outgoing now. She does come out because we got her all these toys, and we got her a scratching lounger thing that the woman that was fostering her said she loved the one that she had at her house, so we got her one here, and she's just as of yesterday started to come out and use it. So yeah, so I might have mentioned this before, I've never actually lived with a cat before. I had a roommate who had a cat for a short period of time, but that was kind of a stray that just kind of wandered into the house one day, and she just let her stay, and then she disappeared. Yeah, so it was an adjustment, but yeah, I love her to death, and Sable is basically my daughter. So yeah, I still miss Byron, and I still think about him every day, but I'm to the point now where I'm very happy that we have Sable. And now we have Kimmy too. Now we have Sophie. And Sophie is actually now starting to respond to her new name, which is nice. And yesterday she just discovered the bird feeder outside the kitchen window. So that's like her new favorite thing. She just sits on the floor in the kitchen and watches the birds. I actually ordered her a window seat so she can climb up there and stare at the bird feeder to her little heart's content. So I hate to think that she had been abused at some point, but I'm beginning to think she might have been because of how skittish she still is. I mean, she's fine with Tom and I. Maybe how she got injured was because of a dog. I'm not sure. But I'm glad she seems to be adjusting. And like I said, it's only been a week. And I think that her and Sable are making very good progress as far as getting along. So that's the update, that's the partial update on the fur babies. I did come home today to a wonderful story from roommate Tom, which I debated whether or not I should talk about it. But I'm going to give you a warning, okay? This might upset any animal lovers out there. I mean, I'm not going to be graphic or anything, but there was a bit of interspecies death that happened. Well, okay, so I'm just gonna say it. So you might want to fast forward through the next couple seconds of the video. I'll keep it short. But Sable kind of, maybe sort of, killed a chipmunk today. I think she thought it was a toy and that she was playing with it, and she just got overly excited. And yeah, so kind of made me nervous. And normally I would think, oh God, what if she like traps Sophie or something? But actually Sophie is very much the dominant person in the house, because when Sophie doesn't want to be around Sable and Sable gets too close, Sophie will she doesn't hiss at her, but she'll either back up really fast or make a move like she's coming towards Sable, and Sable immediately backs up, immediately is the more submissive person. Well, she is a person to me. But anyway, yeah, and normally it would make me a little nervous. I'm really having problems finding these symbols without the light pad on. Can you see if this is on? Oh, wait. There we go. Well, I'm gonna leave it on because I'm having problems. My eyes are terrible. But yeah, so that was the excitement that happened when I was at work. I'm glad I wasn't here when it happened, because it would have been very upsetting. But yeah, and as I was thinking to myself, it probably was nothing more than like a cat is with a mouse as far as Sable and the chipmunk go. So yeah, anyway, I tell you that story right after saying, oh, Sable and Sophie are getting along so well. Anyway, so before I dive into my next little story that I have to tell you guys, it's not going to be really a story, it's going to be more of a rant. So again, I guess I should probably give a little disclaimer that Well, actually, no. Thinking about it, I don't really need to do a disclaimer because you know what? These are my opinions. This is my channel, and everybody is allowed to disagree with me. But yeah. Before I get into my little story, I wanted to ask you guys, for those of you who buy from Diamond Art Club, and I know there's quite a few of you who do, and quite a few of you who do not. So for those of you who do, have you been getting any of the new releases? Because I got the new releases the first week, the week that they released the Beauty and the Fairy, and that's pretty much been it until yesterday. I'm back kind of trying to avoid the really big ones because I started the Beauty and I was having some issues with the Beauty. Actually, I was having some problems with the drills, and then the color is off a little bit in part of the painting, which I hadn't even gotten anywhere close to it. But one of my online friends on here pointed it out to me that the coloring seemed a little weird and wonky because I don't know, for those of you who have it, the Beauty is in the artwork that's on the website. She's wearing a yellow dress, and so you know, it looks perfectly normal and very, very pretty on the website, but on the actual canvas, it's not a yellow dress, it's more flesh colored. And come to find out after messaging Diamond Art Club that was a design change, that they didn't want, the designer did not want, so I'm assuming Mandy Manzano did not want to use the dress, wanted it just to be her arms, and because of that it looks a little weird and the arms are a little oddly shaped. But I was having problems with the drills, so I put that down for a while. Having said that, I did actually buy one of the scenery paintings that came out this week. I think it's called Island Life, and that one is big as well. But it's so completely different than anything else I've gotten from Diamond Art Club. I kind of couldn't resist, and I just think the picture is so pretty. So let me know what you guys have gotten, if you've gotten anything, and what you're working on right now. Currently, this is the only one that I am working on. This Ever Moment is the only diamond painting that I'm working on. I had two going until I finished my Dreamer design, which was an absolute joy to work on. It was hands down probably my favorite diamond painting that I've completed so far. And you know what? Say what you want about Dreamer design. I know that they are not everyone's cup of tea. I know a lot of people really, really, really do not like their canvases. And I can completely understand. Because, you know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion and their own tastes. But let me tell you something. It was just... Sorry about that. It was just so much fun working on that canvas. And I had very little trash. Very, you know, even the 310s. There wasn't that many, granted, but even the 310s were great. So yeah, so ever since I finished that one, I've only been, I did a couple of partials, only because I haven't really been having as much time to diamond paint lately because of trying to wrangle the fur babies, and with work starting to get absolutely insane with the summer. And I do have a story about work, but I think I'll save that for the next video. I might end up doing another Whip and Chat tomorrow. But, yeah, I'll just have to remember. So anyway, as I was saying to a friend of mine, if I decide to do a second diamond painting at the same time, I might end up trying the island one. And I know. It's a big one, and you just said you were feeling overwhelmed when you attempted to do the beauty. Yes, this is true. And if I had any sense in my head, I would just try and stick with the smaller ones, at least for right now. But whoever said that I was a sensible person. Anyway. But I'm okay with just working on this one for right now. Speaking of this, actually, this comes to the story, which is the reason why I decided to do this video tonight. So, as you guys know, and I'm sure a lot of you are probably the same way, when I started to get into diamond painting, I joined a lot of groups for diamond painting on Facebook, just so, you know, I could read some tips and I could interact with people who loved diamond painting like I did. And I joined a whole bunch, you know, because there's no shortage of diamond painting groups on Facebook, especially now. One of my favorite groups that I belong to, and I'm not going to use any names of either the groups or of the people involved, but one of my favorite groups that I'm most active on. When I started working on this one, this is my second day of working on this, and it's my first ever moment that I've worked on. I've gotten a few others since getting this one, but it's the first one that I'm actually working on. And I noticed when I did this square yesterday that I had popping drills. And this is the first time, this is only like the third or fourth square that I've done. This is the first time I've ever had a popping drill, like a serious popping drill problem. Like there was one or two with, no, actually, oh, with Gaia, but that wasn't a square painting, that was a round. And looking back on it, since it was really the first big one that I ever did and completed, that might have just been me, like, not getting the drills on properly. That might not have been an actual popping drill problem. So I guess this is the first time I had a pronounced popping drill situation. So all I did, I went to this group and I just made a post, and all it said was, has anyone ever had popping drills on an ever moment? That was it. And, you know, as I knew, most everyone said, no, never. You know, they're the best company. Never had a problem with them. They have the best canvases, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. It's not that big of a deal. It was just, you know, this is a small square, and it wasn't something, see, there's another one. I just pushed it back in. And there's another one. It wasn't a big enough problem that I would think of, like, not continuing my canvas. I just want to put that out there. That's a very important point. I didn't make a post that says, Ever Moment sucks, I'm doing this canvas and it's terrible and there's popping drills everywhere, blah, blah, blah. All I did was, has anyone ever done an Ever Moment that had popping drills? So, like I said, most people were just like, no, you know, blah, blah, blah. They're the best company. If you're having problems, send them a message. They'll fix it for you. And then I get a message, or I get a comment from this one person. Again, no names. And she's like, absolutely not. I've never had anything but 100% satisfaction with Ever Moment. They're the best square diamond painting company around. And then they come back with, are you sure it was Ever Moment and not like Ever Shine or something like that? And I replied, no, it's definitely Ever Moment. And then she comes back with, well, you need to post a picture because I don't believe it unless I see it. Or I don't believe that it's really an Ever Moment or something like that. I should find the actual post on my phone because it pissed me off. Sorry about that, I hit the tripod. Can't remember her exact words, but it was very snarky. It was along the lines of, you need to post a picture because I don't believe, that's what she said. That's how she worded it. You need to post a picture because I don't believe it. And I sat there and I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe, you know, sometimes things are lost in translation or whatever, you know. Sometimes people write things and you can't really tell if they're being snarky. So I'm like, excuse me, why would I say they were popping if they weren't? Like, what would I gain by doing that? I didn't say that part, but that was, my comment was basically, why would I say that they were popping if they're not? And then she comes back with this big long comment saying, because I support Evermoment 100%, and they would never send out a kit that wasn't like completely fit to work on, and you don't understand how words can destroy a company, and I'm not going to let you sit here and discredit this company that's been nothing but fabulous to me. So if I don't see a picture, I'm not going to believe it, and blah blah blah. Basically, she did everything but just come right out and say, you are a liar, and this didn't, you know, you're just posting to cause drama or whatever. And I got this message as I was getting ready to leave work. And I'm thinking, okay, this is fine. It's like, you know, I got way more important things to get myself stressed out about at work, other than, you know, somebody who has nothing better to do than to try and stir up some drama on a Facebook group. But the more I thought about it, the more aggravated I became when I was driving home. Until finally when I got home, I'm thinking to myself, okay, because originally I wasn't even going to respond. I was just going to ignore it. And I was actually considering maybe going back and just deleting the whole thing. And then I'm like, no, you know what? I am going to post pictures, because nobody's going to sit there and accuse me of lying about something so inconsequential. And yes, it is inconsequential, but it was still, you know, it pissed me off. I don't know if you guys would have reacted the same way, but it irritated me, because one of the reasons, and I think I touched on this briefly in my last video, one of the reasons I haven't really been on YouTube that much is because the whole drama focus in Diamond Tube has been a real turnoff for me, and it's, you know, I don't want any part of it. I don't want to associate with people who like to stir up drama. And as I was saying to a couple of my friends, I haven't really even been watching that many videos on Diamond Tube, because it seems like every time I do, somebody's talking about this drama or that drama, or, you know, it always pops up. And this is no, like, disparity on any of the people that I subscribe to or any diamond painters out there. You know, this might get me some shit from people, and you know what, it doesn't seem to take much to get some shit from people these days. But yeah, I have way too much stress and anxiety in my life to watch videos and stuff like that if it's all going to be drama related. I am far too old for high school type behavior, which is pretty much what the whole drama, you know, is, in my opinion. So my solution was to kind of just stay off of YouTube in general and diamond paint for myself. And then I missed making videos, so that's why I started making videos again. So I probably didn't say that. It sounded better in my head. I'm not trying to like annoy anybody. But yeah, so the main reason why I wasn't making videos, or as many videos as I was because I was trying to stay away from the drama. So to have this like person that I don't know, who knows nothing about me, like try and make it seem like I made this post just to try and get people to fight back and forth over if Evermoment is a good company or not, it irritated me. So I came home and I took some pictures of the popping drills. And since she was insisting that it might have, the canvas might have had popping drills, but it obviously could never be from Evermoment, I took a picture of the invoice, or this thing, with Evermoment on the back. So, and I posted it. And miraculously, she didn't have a response to that. So, yeah, anyway. As usual, when I think of these things that I want to talk about, it usually always ends up sounding better in my head than the way that it comes out. But whatever. It is my intention for my little spot on the interwebs to try and keep it as drama-free as possible. Yeah. So, anyway. So yeah, I was having a bit of a popping drill issue yesterday, and I'm sitting here and I'm seeing these drills just come up, and yeah, it's not like I said, it's not bad enough for me to like rant and rave and everything. I did contact Evermoment. They have not responded yet. All I did was I told them, I said, I'm having a little bit of an issue with popping drills. Yeah, so we will see what comes up of it. Okay. I will say that this painting has a lot more confetti than I originally thought it would. Maybe it's just in these top sections. Because considering this is like, I think it's a 30 by 40. It feels like it's taking me longer to do this than it should. But you know what? I was being spoiled, because I've become like, I was gonna say I've become a pro at the multi-placer, not really. The 3-placer anyway, I feel somewhat comfortable using. Yeah. Oh, that's right. After I finished my Dreamer design, I went back and started working on I Miss You by Mandy Manzano from Diamond Art Club, which was the original massive canvas that I had that I kind of got overwhelmed working on. So I put it down. I started it back at the beginning of April, and I put it down for a good month, and I started working on it again, and I was enjoying myself, and I got quite a bit more of it done. And I think it's one of those things where it's just I have to do it in small doses. So I think I have maybe a quarter of it left to do. So I'll probably go back to that in a couple of weeks and maybe eventually finish it. Yeah. By the way, I don't think I mentioned it, but this, oh, you can't really see it. This lovely pen, jeez, the lighting is really bad. This lovely pen was made by Diamond Pens on Facebook. This is the second pen that I've gotten from them. They do amazing work. They're really great, and they're affordable. And now that I have these pens, and I've got a few more on order, I don't want to go back to the regular little pens that I was using before, like the ones that come with the kits. I've gotten spoiled with these because they're so cool. And plus my hands don't cramp when I'm using these now. Whereas with the real skinny little ones that come with the kits, my fingers and my hands would cramp because I have arthritis in my hands. I think I might actually be done with the P. But of course, when I put them away, then I will find a whole bunch of P's. Yeah, here's another one. Right there. I did accomplish one thing that I was aiming to do. Look at this. I just found a whole bunch of the previous symbol that I was working on. Doesn't that always happen? It's so irritating. You can sit here and stare at this for like 10 minutes and be convinced that you don't have any more, and then you put it away and magically you find like 15 more of them right where you were just looking. But anyway, what was I saying? Some things never change, I swear. Oh, God. Seriously, what was I saying? I don't remember. Must not have been that important. Oh, yes. I am happy to say that I did accomplish one thing, which was, now that it's the 2nd of July, I went an entire month without ordering anything from AliExpress, which I think is a huge accomplishment for me. Now, I did order from Diamond Art Club and Dreamer Design in June, but not as much as I wanted to, so I guess that kind of helps a little bit. Yeah, so, see, I don't know how I feel about this releasing new designs every week that Dreamer Design was doing, because it seems like, well, I'm sure they enjoyed it because people were spending more money, but for me, it made it more difficult because I would rather them release like a whole bunch of them at one time, because then I can decide if I simply have to have something, or if it's something that can just go on my wish list and I can get it some other time when they have a big sale. Whereas when they're releasing stuff by the week, you see something and you think you have to have it, and then the following week you see something that you like even more. Does that make sense? So you end up spending more money. So that kind of, you know, made it a little, what's the word? It was a little tricky for me, but the last 2 weeks I didn't get anything, but I did get the landscape, the Sea Island. Is it Sea Island? Island City? I don't even know. I got that, and I got Nefertiti. Nefertiti. I can't speak today. I don't know what my problem is. Nefertiti. That has been sitting on my wish list since the very first time I went to look at their website months and months ago. And I think watching Stitcherista finally working on it made me decide to get it. It's obviously Confetti City, and I usually don't tend to enjoy lots of confetti. Case in point, I was just bitching about how this has a lot of confetti in it. Yeah, but I've always wanted it, and for some reason I can't seem to just order one thing from Diamond Art Club. I always end up getting at least 2 whenever I make an order. I'm always trying for the free shipping. So anyway, all right, I think I'm officially done with the peas. I think I'm going to move on to tea now, because there's a lot, or maybe 4. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to do 4 because there's a lot that I can use the multi-placer on, and I might feel like I'm getting more done. Okay. So, for those of you who responded, and for everybody else, speaking of which, I've gotten quite a few new subscribers lately, so I wanted to say hello to all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for finding me and for sticking around and watching my silly little corner of the interwebs. But anyway, in my last video I was asking you guys what you do while you diamond paint, if you just watch videos, or if you listen to audiobooks or music or podcasts or watch TV. A lot of you watch TV, so I was just wondering, do you have a particular show that you like to watch? Sorry, again, I hit the tripod. I I've become obsessed with the show Lucifer. I know a lot of you have heard of it. I actually started watching it when it was on Fox, but kind of lost track of it because I'm terrible with keeping up with TV shows that are airing weekly. Give me a show that I can binge on Netflix or Hulu and I'm good. But if I have to try and remember to watch it every week, I always fall behind. But anyway, I've started to watch Lucifer, and I'm about halfway through the second season, and oh my god, it's such a fun show. So much fun. I love the sarcastic humor, and Tom Ellis as Lucifer Morningstar, not too shabby. You know, he's kind of an added incentive to watch the show, as it were. Kind of like Charlie Hunnam was an added incentive of watching Sons of Anarchy, which I don't think I've ever mentioned that show, but I love Sons of Anarchy. It's one of my favorite shows of all time, and I would say maybe 50% was because I loved the show itself and the writing and the characters and how crazy and messed up it was, and the other 50% just so I could stare at Charlie Hunnam. I will freely admit that. I'm only human. Okay, so I think I used 4. I did use 4. Alright, so I've been watching Lucifer, and Tom and I, as far as other TV shows go that we just watch, we are caught up currently with the new season of The Handmaid's Tale. It's weird because The Handmaid's Tale had to grow on me. I wasn't really super into it the first few episodes of the first season, but around the halfway mark of the first season, I just got obsessed, and it's a really great show. Now that they're kind of past sort of the book, there have been a couple iffy things, but they always seem to pull it out. And I think obviously the best part of that show is the acting, because Elizabeth Moss is amazing. And actually, with as amazing as she is, the person that is the most impressive to me is the woman that plays Serena. I think she's fantastic. Yeah. I really, 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 really love that show. We finished watching Billions. Up until this past season, was a big fan of that show. This past season was kind of ridiculous, and I know a lot of people feel the same way, so it wasn't just me. But that was a good show, and I haven't given up on it. And we're kind of sort of half keeping up with Fear the Walking Dead. I was never a fan of that show, really. I mean, I used to be a huge fan of The Walking Dead. The last season I thought was pretty good. But Fear the Walking Dead, I could give or take. But one of the things about Tom is, and I make fun of him all the time for this, but if he starts watching a TV show, like from the beginning, he cannot give up on it, whether he likes it or not. There's some part of him, some little part of like little aspect of OCD or something, he has to complete it, because he did that with True Blood. He never really even liked that show, but he watched every single episode because he started watching it, because he invested all that time into it. So yeah, we're kind of in that position with Fear the Walking Dead. And I saw on Facebook that they just up and ended the comic books of The Walking Dead, just out of the blue. That's so weird to me. And they're going to end it with issue 193 instead of going for an even 200. That also seems really strange to me. But what do I know? I guess the dude, Robert Kirkman, I think that's his name. Kirkland. I guess he made enough money. Well, he'll continue to make money with the TV show. I am just babbling my little face off here. Goodness. That's what happens when you don't do a Whip and Chat for a while. It all builds up and just comes spewing out of me at once. That sounded attractive. So yeah, today's Tuesday, and thankfully I only have one more day, and then I'm off for 2, and then I work Saturday, and I'm off for another 2 days. It's a nice little break to what has been an incredibly insane couple of weeks. 4th of July is usually our biggest holiday in the summer, and besides the fact that, you know, it's summer, we are a shore store, and this is when we do about 70% of our business for the entire year. We had to deal with the fact that we did not have a manager for the last 3 weeks because our manager up and quit with no warning. He just decided, well, I think he knew, but it was very sudden for everybody that worked with him. And they didn't think it was important to replace him before the biggest holiday of the summer. So our store looked terrible. We had no sort of direction or leadership. The assistants that were sort of trying to take control failed miserably, and it was a really rough 3 weeks, and we're just starting to dig our way out of it. But we have our new manager. He's young and very sort of gung-ho, which I think we need, and he's getting a lot done. The store, in like the 2 days that he's been working there, looks 10 times better than it has in months, so that's a good thing. But just the crowds and the amount of people in that store. We have a small store. It's the only grocery store on the island, and therefore we are constantly busy, and there are constantly lines up front. We only have 5 registers because, like I said, we're a small grocery store, so every time there's a holiday, there's lines down the aisles, which makes for an interesting working environment, especially if you have to actually go out on the floor to do anything. My job, you know, being, I think I've mentioned this many times, but I'm scan coordinator, which means I am in charge of the pricing for all of the items in the store. I do the signs and price tags and blah, blah, blah. Thankfully, I have a lot of stuff, like a lot of computer work, because there's various reports and things that I have to do. So one of the reasons why I go in so early is so I can try and get all my work that requires me to be out on the floor done before the store opens, so especially during the summer, so I don't have to deal with the customers. Unfortunately, when it's a holiday week and you have no help, like I do, I couldn't avoid, oh my God, I couldn't avoid being out amongst the crazy customers the last few days. And that's no fun. Because if it was just people, you know, happy to be on vacation and cheerful and just happy that it's summer and they're not at work, that would be one thing. That'd be cool. But no, we've got people, and anybody who works in retail knows exactly what I'm talking about. These people are on vacation. They're not at work. They're with their families or friends or boyfriends and girlfriends, and they are miserable, and they take their frustrations out on the nearest people that aren't themselves. So I've had carts rammed into me. I've had people tell me to go get another job. I've had people tell me they're going to get me fired. I had one woman scream at me in the parking lot because she didn't like where I was parked. I had a person tell me that the handheld that we use to like do price checks and everything like that, it was too loud and I was being ignorant for using it while customers are in the store. Yes. So, and that's just like on a good day. Yeah, so anyway, I always say, before you take your anger and, you know, problems out on a retail worker, put yourself in their position for like a day. Just mentally put yourself in their position for a day, and I think their attitude would change. Maybe they would like refrain from screaming at you, maybe part of the time anyway. But it goes with the job, I guess. So anyway, wow, I've been babbling for almost an hour. What time is it? Yeah, it's almost 7. I got to start getting my crap together for tomorrow, preparing for tomorrow. And yeah, so I'm gonna wind things down here. So I really appreciate you guys watching. As always, I appreciate any kind of comment or thumbs up that you guys could give me. And thanks for listening to my babble. Hopefully it wasn't too disjointed. And I hope everyone's having a great week. I hope you enjoy your 4th of July for those of you in these states. For those of you outside the states, some of you might be in the middle of winter, so I hope you're enjoying your cooler weather, which I really wish we were having right now, because it's really hot here. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing and just taking time out of your day to visit me in my little corner of the interwebs. And I will talk with you very soon, you guys. See ya.